Alright, good morning, everybody. Now, I apologize for the audio if it seems to be a bit loud or unbalanced. I don't know what's going on, but in any case, welcome back from a Memorial Day, from a Labor Day weekend. It was not Memorial Day. This is the Communist Remembrance Weekend, so do with that as you will. Today, we will be doing spell creation. And we have a special session of card creation because you'll be seeing how all of these things play into um, the different dynamics of the game rather than kind of like a raw one-for-one deal. And normally we will be doing this using the Gatherer, but today we have a very, very special request. These little babies. And these, for those of you who are not in the know, are Magic the Gathering's bastard children. These are the problematic WAYYYYYCIST cards. So we have a fan submission from the group who said we want to see these made into uh, uses for the Shades of Dominion. And so this is what the fans asked for. These are the kinds of fans that I have, and Godspeed to them. So we are obliging the madness. And we're going to start with the first card, which is Invoke Prejudice. Now, Invoke Prejudice is an enchantment, meaning that it's not going to be a spell. Global enchantments in the Shades of Dominion take on a different form in the game entirely. This is not a card or a power that you would cast from your library. You would cast this instead, or this would be a static effect on you in the terms of a character aspect, or if you're used to D&D vernacular, a feat. Something that you passively enjoy. And there are things in the game that will be able to deactivate Invoke Prejudice on your characters. So, what is Invoke Prejudice going to look like? Well, it says if opponent casts a summon spell that does not match the color of one of the creatures under your control, that spell is countered unless the caster pays an additional X, where X is the casting of the summoned spell. So, we'll just put this right here. This will be enemy shade summons. That do not share the dominion Now, I'm using a Notepad, so it's being a little wonky. We have to hit enter every time it goes off the screen. So, enemy shade summons that do not share a dominion you control, that do not share your dominions, are countered unless their controller unless the caster pays their shade cost again. Now, that is a very basic, and we won't call it Invoke Prejudice. What we will actually call this is Extreme Prejudice. Enemy shade summons that do not share your dominions are countered unless the caster pays the shade cost again. Which is effectively what the card does, but in Shades of Dominion we can be a little more brutal, we can be a little more cruel. when it comes to how our how our feats work. Now, here's the thing when it comes to creating a character aspect. So this is going to be a character aspect. And so the thing about character aspects is you have to determine a cost, an actual real life cost to this. And this is Invoke Prejudice. Let me look at the Gatherer. Invoke Prejudice. Yeah, if you look at this, it says we have removed this card image from our database because WAYYYYYCIST, and it is a rare. So that's the information that I actually wanted. I want to know what rarity this card was. It has converted mana cost 4, which means that if this were any other spell template, it would go through a multiplier. It would go through a multiplier of basically times 2. So it would be, no, it wouldn't be times 2. It would be times 3, I believe. So 4 would go up to 12. All right. So what we would do here is we would look at this. So we're just going to give it a converted shade cost. Shade cost is going to be 12. And I don't know what we're going to do with the converted shade cost just yet, but just know that, and here's another thing about Extreme Prejudice is we haven't determined quite yet what attribute this is going to represent. So we have a couple of options. Character aspect. We have illusion, knowledge, and manipulation. So we have to decide which of these, or which combination thereof, are going to be part and parcel of what this card actually does, or where the player would gain access to this aspect. Which parts of magic, which parts of blue, which parts of the Ether Dominion does this fall under? So we can argue, from my mind, that it's going to be knowledge and manipulation. So we can take illusion out of here, because it's not creating a figment of your imagination. It's using your knowledge of the target and just expelling them outright. And the expelling part, that's largely a manipulation power. Knowledge is the ability to gain spell templates and be able to make spell battery rolls. So we have that kind of dynamic here. And what we can do is we can take this shade cost, and automatically what this is going to equal, what this is going to equivocate to, is the activation cost. Activation. And activation is important when you're picking up a character aspect, because it determines whether or not you're powerful enough to pick it up. And make no mistake, Extreme Prejudice would be a very powerful card to start with, so you're probably not going to get it until later in the game. So this is something that you also have to take into account, is power level when you're converting these cards. And that's why we have the rarity conversion. That's why we have the conversion chart for rarity, because when I built the system, it was built on the law of common, and everything in terms of cost is based on the most powerful effect you can get from a common card in that set, in that attribute. And so when you add another card to this game, and it's not a common card, it's going to have to go through a multiplier. So that's what this is accounting for, is power level, and that's all. And it actually works. It scales very well when it comes to the game, when it comes to character advancement. So we have we have two attributes that can qualify for this, and it's going to have an activation cost of 12. So, and what this essentially means, what activation also means is shade cap, or the shade capacity. This is kind of actually no, that's half the story, but we'll also get to that later. So the question is not, we understand the effect of this character aspect. It's a powerful one. It's a very, very powerful one. And it's going to be one that's going to be able to be picked up by the Shade Mage late in the game, is really what I'm trying to get at here. And it's all from here. It's a matter of determining when this player is going to get access to this ability. So we're going to say knowledge is going to be 6, and manipulation is going to be 12. So they're going to need both of these requirements. Okay, and there you have it. You have extreme prejudice as a character aspect, with requirements of a 6 in knowledge, 12 in manipulation, and the effect is going to be that every time a shade summons, you do not share that. Whenever enemy shade summons that do not share your dominions are countered, unless your caster pays the shade cost again. Now we're going to have to specify this even more. Enemy shade summons cast in your presence Yes, we'll have to clean this up a bit. Are countered. There we go. Because we don't want this to be overpowered. You can't just invoke Prejudice right as you walk in the field and there are already summons on the field. No. I'm going to make this a little difficult. Enemy shade summons cast in your presence that do not share your dominions are countered unless the caster pays the shade cost again. So that's what we're going to have here. That is Extreme Prejudice. And that is enough time for one video. I hope you enjoyed how turning one of the more WAYYYYYCIST cards from a Magic the Gathering card to an actual character aspect you would use in the game that you could attach to your character as they grow and develop. This is what some of the process looks like for me as the creator. And yeah, and there are tons of these. There are tons of combinations that all of you want to include in the game, because they're pretty awesome effects, but it's just a matter of discerning between when something is an actual card and when something is more along the lines of a character aspect that's going to determine how your character moves in reality, or the kind of skills that they have within and how those skills affect the world at large. And that's a huge part of this, is discerning what part is just a one-off spell and which part is an actual mechanic that the character themselves has to carry with them throughout their entire journey, rather than just, oh, I'm a mage, so all these things happen. No, you have to make it make sense, and part of making that make sense is turning these enchantments uh, into feats, into characteristics, into character aspects. So that's what we have to do with things with global enchantments like Invoke Prejudice. I hope you enjoyed this. We will be doing a lot more, and stay tuned for more racist conversions. That's it, guys. Now get out there and throw some shade. Bye bye.